Welcome to episode 86 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. In this episode, we will examine security misconfiguration issues, which remain one of the most prevalent and persistent causes of security vulnerabilities in today's enterprise environments. Misconfigurations can occur in any layer of the stack, from web servers and applications to cloud platforms and network components, and they often result in exposures that are entirely preventable with proper controls. Whether you are studying for the exam or working in a security analyst role, understanding how to detect, mitigate, and prevent misconfiguration is fundamental to protecting your organization and advancing your cybersecurity skills. Let's begin by clearly defining what a security misconfiguration is. At its core, a security misconfiguration refers to any system, application, or environment that has been deployed with incorrect or suboptimal security settings. This includes leaving default parameters in place, disabling key protection mechanisms, failing to apply security patches, or improperly granting access. These misconfigurations often introduce security gaps that can be exploited by attackers, and they are not confined to any single technology layer. They can be found in cloud deployments, web applications, network appliances, databases, and even within user privilege settings. These misconfigurations typically stem from a range of underlying causes. Default settings left unchanged after deployment are a major contributor, especially in commercial software and third-party services. Additionally, administrators may unintentionally misconfigure security settings due to lack of training, unclear documentation, or the absence of security oversight. Missing patches or improperly applied updates leave systems exposed to known vulnerabilities. Excessive permissions, insecure network shares, and unneeded services all contribute to expanding the attack surface. Without careful attention and validation, even small oversights can escalate into serious threats. Examples of common misconfigurations include systems with factory default usernames and passwords, services that are publicly accessible without authentication, outdated software versions with known exploits, and misconfigured cloud storage buckets that allow anonymous access. Other examples include web servers that expose sensitive directories or that return detailed error messages revealing software versions and file paths. Firewalls and network devices may be deployed with rules that are too permissive, and cloud platforms may have identity policies that allow excessive access across services. Attackers are well aware of how common and impactful misconfigurations are, and they routinely seek them out as part of automated scanning and targeted attacks. Once a misconfiguration is discovered, it can provide a foothold for unauthorized access, privilege escalation, data exfiltration, or command execution. For example, if a cloud storage bucket is publicly readable, it can leak confidential data. If an outdated web application is running with unnecessary services enabled, it may be exploited for remote code execution. These are not hypothetical risks. They represent real-world vectors leveraged in many documented breaches. Cybersecurity analysts often rely on a suite of vulnerability scanning tools to detect misconfigurations. Tools such as Nessus, Qualys, OpenVANs, and Burp Suite allow for the systematic identification of insecure settings, unpatched software, and default credentials. These tools can be customized with security policies, rule sets, and plugins that allow the analyst to tailor the scanning profile to specific infrastructure types. With regular scanning and baseline comparisons, organizations can maintain visibility into how their systems are configured and how those configurations change over time. However, many misconfiguration issues arise not from tools failing to detect them, but from the absence of a formal configuration management process. Analysts emphasize the need for organizations to establish secure configuration management practices, including documented baselines, defined change control workflows, and frequent audits. Configuration drift, the gradual divergence of systems from their secure baseline, can lead to unpredictable exposures. Without active management, even systems that were once secure can become vulnerable due to undocumented or unapproved changes. In cloud environments, analysts observe a unique set of misconfiguration risks due to the complexity and scalability of cloud services. Publicly accessible cloud storage, overly permissive IAM policies, exposed application programming interfaces, and improperly configured virtual networks all introduce risks that can be difficult to detect without specialized knowledge and tooling. Analysts must be familiar with provider-specific best practices, such as AWS's security groups or Azure's role-based access control, to identify misconfigurations that are context-dependent and platform-specific. Web server misconfigurations are also a frequent source of vulnerability. Analysts may identify that directory browsing is enabled, which can allow attackers to list sensitive files. Error messages that are too verbose can expose back-end logic or internal system paths. Default configuration files that are left accessible can provide insight into server setup or stored credentials. Insecure transport layer security configurations may allow the use of deprecated cryptographic protocols. These issues reflect fundamental missteps in how the web server is designed and maintained, rather than inherent flaws in the software itself. Managing these issues effectively requires structured documentation of security baselines and configuration standards. Analysts need to maintain clear records of which systems are expected to run which services, with what parameters, and under what permissions. Scanning results must be reviewed and compared against these baselines to identify deviation. For each misconfiguration discovered, remediation plans must be created that outline what needs to change, who is responsible, and what testing or validation will confirm the issue has been corrected. Once misconfigurations have been discovered, analysts prioritize remediation based on the potential for exploitation, the value or sensitivity of affected data, and the operational impact of the vulnerability. Critical systems exposed to the internet with default credentials receive immediate attention. Internal misconfigurations that are lower risk may be scheduled into broader update cycles. However, the guiding principle remains that no misconfiguration should be ignored, because even low-risk issues can be chained together by attackers to produce high-impact results. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Effective detection of security misconfigurations begins with the use of comprehensive vulnerability scanners that can evaluate system settings, file permissions, service configurations, and open ports against expected baselines. These tools generate detailed reports highlighting deviations from secure standards, identifying missing patches, misconfigured components, and legacy configurations that may no longer be secure. Analysts regularly schedule and review scans across all infrastructure components to maintain ongoing visibility and address misconfiguration issues before attackers can exploit them. To ensure thoroughness, analysts also conduct manual configuration audits and compliance assessments using standardized security frameworks. These include the Center for Internet Security Benchmarks, the National Institute of Standards and Technology guidelines, and recommendations from the Open Web Application Security Project. In regulated industries, analysts also align assessments with legal mandates such as the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. By combining technical scanning with framework-aligned reviews, organizations can achieve both broad and deep coverage. Patch management plays a critical role in reducing misconfigurations tied to outdated software or insecure default settings. Analysts implement systematic processes for evaluating, testing, and deploying patches in a controlled manner. These procedures include risk assessments, rollback plans, and validation steps to ensure security updates are applied without disrupting system functionality. Patch deployment must be consistent across environments to prevent partial remediation and maintain a uniform security posture. Secure configuration baseline scanning is a related practice used to validate the current state of systems against a pre-approved secure configuration. Analysts use automated baseline comparison tools to determine whether configurations for operating systems, network devices, databases, and cloud services comply with internal policies. These checks examine settings such as file permissions, user roles, firewall rules, encryption protocols, and service availability. Deviations are documented, triaged, and corrected as part of routine maintenance or in response to identified risks. In modern development environments, infrastructure as code practices enable analysts to embed secure configuration controls directly into deployment workflows. Analysts develop and approve secure templates for services and resources, ensuring that cloud deployments automatically inherit correct security settings. Automated scanning tools check infrastructure code for misconfigurations prior to deployment, catching vulnerabilities early in the pipeline. This approach enables rapid, consistent deployment while minimizing human error and configuration drift. To detect and block exploitation attempts that target misconfigurations, analysts deploy and configure web application firewalls and network layer security tools. These technologies can monitor inbound and outbound traffic for patterns that suggest unauthorized access attempts, misuse of services, or scanning activity. Rule sets are regularly updated based on emerging threat intelligence, ensuring the security stack is prepared to identify and respond to attacks exploiting misconfigured systems. Remediating identified misconfigurations requires immediate action, guided by documented remediation plans. Analysts disable unnecessary services, enforce secure access controls, apply missing patches, and rotate default credentials with strong, unique values. They may also reconfigure firewall rules, update authentication policies, or re-architect system deployments to align with secure design principles. Each fix is verified through rescanning, audit review, or manual validation to confirm the issue has been resolved. Training remains a foundational component of misconfiguration prevention. Analysts conduct security training for system administrators, developers, DevOps engineers, and IT operations staff, focused on secure configuration practices. This training includes guidance on hardening systems, using approved templates, identifying risky settings, and understanding the security implications of configuration changes. Ongoing education ensures that secure practices remain top of mind across the organization. To sustain long-term improvement, analysts perform regular reviews of misconfiguration trends, previous remediation efforts, and audit results. These reviews help identify recurring misconfiguration themes, gaps in training, or systemic process weaknesses. Adjustments to baseline standards, tool configurations, or audit schedules may be implemented based on these insights. The goal is to continually reduce misconfiguration prevalence and eliminate repeat issues. Comprehensive documentation supports every aspect of misconfiguration management. Analysts maintain detailed records of assessments, tool outputs, configuration baselines, remediation activities, and compliance validations. Documentation ensures accountability, facilitates audits, and supports lessons learned for future improvement. Secure configuration standards are living documents that evolve with technology and threat landscapes, and analysts play a key role in their upkeep. To conclude episode 86, we emphasize that mastering the detection, prevention, and remediation of security misconfigurations is a critical skill set for cybersecurity analysts. These issues often emerge from avoidable oversights, and they are frequently the low-hanging fruit attackers exploit first. Through consistent scanning, effective patching, secure configuration baselines, regulatory alignment, and continuous education, analysts can help ensure their organization maintains a secure and resilient infrastructure. This knowledge also serves as a core component of your CYSA Plus exam preparation. Continue practicing these principles as we move forward in your cybersecurity certification journey. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.